everyone. I have all my fabric painted. This is one piece and this is the other piece. Because I did a big chunk, I was able to cut it apart, and actually I'm going to get two covers. We're going to work on this one first, but I wanted to show you again where we're headed with this. This is the cover that I started with, and there's its spine. That's where we got the measurement. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take a ruler and a pencil. I'm using a pastel chalk pencil, and we're going to measure in 6 3/4 from one side, and do it in a couple places and mark it. We're going to do the same thing on this side, 6 3/4 and 6 3/4, and then I am going to draw my line. This is a chalk pencil, so it's going to come out, and if it doesn't, it's okay, because it's just full of marks and stuff anyway. And that will give us our front, our back, and these areas will be our spine. And I have just kind of folded them there, mostly so that I have, besides the line, I have the crease. The line the lines are just here so that we know where to put our papers and our embellishments that we're going to put on here. If by chance you made a bigger piece and you're saving room for a pocket like I did on my original one, you need to measure down and put a line here, because you don't want to fold papers you know they're going to tear. And so I measured this one, folded it, and then I had the lines to mark and work in it as I go. Okay, on to our next step. We have it measured and marked so we know where we want to not put something, or maybe where we do want to put something. There is no rules, remember. So now gather materials. As you can see from my mess, I have picked out a lot of different things that I kind of like. And of course, we're not going to use them all, but you're going to take things that you like. I love this. And so maybe that would look really, really good on the spine. And you're going to play around. You're going to take papers. I'm trying a new format for my filming, and so you get to see my actual dirty workspace. But take some papers if you want. And remember, if you're putting this on a journal, if you put a coat of Mod Podge or matte medium over it, a coat or two, it will make it really stronger. So just take things and kind of lay them around. If you got, I like this little spot, so I might want to avoid putting anything there. It's totally up to how you want to do it. There is no right or wrong. You know, maybe you like lots of lace. Maybe you don't like any lace. Just play around. Put things where you like it. Remember, you got both sides. You know, some of this really isn't going to work. I've just found some things just to give you some ideas. And you know, if you've got a bigger piece of fabric like this, you know you're probably not going to use that. So just fold it, and you can still audition it, you know, and see, oh yeah, maybe I do like that. You can put as much on here as you want. You can put as little. It's completely your choice. It's whatever makes you happy. And if you're like me, you will do this. You will start all over several times, because, you know, maybe this time I want some lace, you know, and I want longer piece there and a little bit of black, and maybe I need a quote. So you just kind of play with it until you're happy. What I tend to do after I've gotten everything where I want it is I take a picture with my phone. That way I can revert back to that, because I will probably like lift these and sew just this one, and then sew this one, and then sew this one, and then maybe, you know, I'll have some little polka dots that I need to sew on. And I try to start from the bottom up and just figure out, you know, what I want. But I do play around for a while. I do maneuver things until I'm like, oh yeah, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. So I'm going to work on mine for a little bit, and I will come show you before I sew it, and I'll show you after I sew it. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back. I see we kind of got a bit of a glare, and I'm hoping you can still see everything good enough. This is what I have come up with. I moved things around for a while, and if you look, I personally didn't realize I had a pattern, but I guess I do. I work in odds. We have 3, we have 3, we have 3. Now here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's still odd. This one has 4, but for some reason, because this one is a circle, it works. This one too also has 4, but the circle kind of gets lost, so I count it as 3. If you want to take a picture with your camera now, and this way you know how you have it, and when you get ready to sew it in, you've got this done, and you're going, well, I know this goes here, but how close, how far? You can look at your picture, like on mine, and I'll go, oh, there's that little 2. It's really close to the little 2. Now, if you don't want to do it that way, and you want to just do it, you can take a glue stick and glue, you know, put a little glue on that, and glue it to that, and then put a little dab of glue. And if you go for the center, most of the time your sewing machine is not going to get interfered with that. And so that's kind of glued on there. And I could just sit and stitch this, and when I get back to here, do that part. Save a little bit of time stitching. A lot of corner turning too. So it's kind of up to you on what you want to do. You know, of course, if you don't stitch, and or you don't want to do it by hand stitching, you can glue it, but you're not probably going to be too happy, because all your stuff is going to eventually wiggle off, because you know, we're making a relatively wide book here, and you are going to have a lot of pages in it. And if we make it like my idea is following so far, we will have some blank pages in there to work on, and this can be a journal that's a mixture of art and journaling and other people's art. So I hope you can figure out exactly what you want, get it stitched down, and I will stitch this down and get back with you. Hi, I said I'd be back with the finished product, and there we go. As you can see, I changed things. I didn't like this, and I felt we needed something else right here. I still wanted to see my little word play right here, so I just stitched this down. After I finished sewing everything on, I went back with my sewing machine and just crazy stitched all over the place, because I can. You can also, if you want after this, you can take and draw and just outline anything, or add a few more doodles onto your your fabric, to add more doodles and more dimensions and more character. If you're happy with it, leave it. You can take your paint pens and add things. Part of the reason we changed this one right here is because these little black dots on the turquoise was really cute to me, and I wanted to see that. So I'm gonna just doodle a little bit, maybe not. I like my stitching wild and crazy on here, so I may leave it at that. Okay, I know that we were just gonna do a step at a time, but I want to give you a little heads up on a step down the road, because I'm sure all of you, when you get past this, are going, oh my, how ugly is that? Are we not going to do something with that? Well, I'm going to use the sample that I made to begin with and show you. We will make a liner for our cover, but not right at the beginning. So you can take your cover and you can see it'll be lined. We will have this to sew our pages onto. So as we make pages, we can sew it on here. So it's going to be kind of a faux cover. You know, the outside's going to be real ugly. But we can sew our pages in as we go along. Once we get enough to fill our book, we will then put the cover on and stitch that down around the outside edges and probably down here for stability. And we will have our fancy smancy book. The reason I'm jumping ahead is because, you know, this is ugly and I don't want anybody to panic because we're going to make it work. Worst case scenario, you could paint this. You could iron something else onto it if it's really bothering you. But we will get it covered up with, you know, our inside lining of our cover, but it is down the road. That pretty much finishes what we need to do for the cover. When you get this done, we will come up with some pages. Enjoy and be sure to share your pictures. Thank you.